There's 6 things that you need to know before applying for a Capital One credit card. And unless you can handle these 6 things, you might decide to avoid Capital One credit cards altogether. You might know the Capital One Duo as the popular combination of the Venture X with the Capital One SavorOne. This setup seems ideal at first. It's straightforward, affordable compared to many travel setups, covers major spending categories, and even includes some luxury travel perks. But before you even think about getting the Capital One Duo or any Capital One credit card, make sure you can manage these 6 things. First, avoid getting Capital One credit card unless you're clear on the value you get from Capital One miles and are okay with it, because Capital One miles tend to hold less value than points from Chase or Amex. For example, Capital One miles redeemed for cashback yield only 0.5 cents per point, whereas Amex offers 0.6 cents and Chase offers a full 1 cent per point. So Capital One, a lower cashback value, can limit your flexibility when redeeming miles for cash in comparison to other brands. But through the Capital One travel portal, you'll get 1 cent per point, and they even offer features like price drop protection and price matching. But unlike with Chase, where they have 25 to 50% redemption boost, even with the Venture X, Capital One doesn't offer any sort of boost for booking through the travel portal. And generally, the best value for most point programs comes from transferring to travel partners, and it's something to keep in mind with Capital One. This brings us to the second reason why you might want to avoid Capital One credit cards, which is because their travel partners list is not as inclusive. While Capital One has travel partners with 18 airlines, including Air Canada, Turkish Airlines, Avianca, British Airways, and Virgin Atlantic, it is missing major hotel partners like Hyatt, Hilton, or Marriott. This could be a downside if you prefer using points for hotel stays, as it limits the flexibility you have with Capital One miles. Chase, for instance, offers Hyatt as a partner, letting users consistently get around 2 cents per point in value. Without a major hotel partner, your options and potential rewards might be limited with Capital One. The next reason why you might need to avoid Capital One credit cards is getting denied on the credit card application. It doesn't matter if you got high credit score, your accounts are old and in a good position, or you never get denied, some people still face denials. This can happen often if you don't have an existing relationship with Capital One or their history as a bank focused on credit building cards. So if you're new to Capital One but have a high credit score, approval might not be as easy as with other issuers. Plus, Capital One has a strict rule against multiple applications, meaning if you applied for any Capital One credit card within the past 6 months, you'll automatically be denied for another one, even if the previous application was declined. Bank application rules are important to know for any credit card you are trying to apply. So before you apply, make sure to watch our video on how often to apply for a new credit card so that you are never denied. Now, assuming you get approved for the Capital One Venture X, you'll need to fully utilize the card's annual travel credit and other benefits to offset the annual fee and make the most of it. And this is the fourth thing that you need to handle with Capital One. The annual $300 travel credit is usable on bookings through Capital One travel portal and can reduce the effective annual fee from $395 down to $95. But booking travel using the travel portal may have drawbacks, like not retaining any elite status benefits with hotels or airlines, which other issuers like Amex allow. If you regularly rely on perks from elite statuses, that can actually add up to a significant amount of value when you consider the room upgrades or free breakfast. This could represent a significant opportunity cost. Additionally, Capital One also offers 10,000 anniversary miles equal to $100 towards travel, which help to zero out the annual card fee. But again, make sure you think about pros pros and cons of using the travel portal versus having elite status before considering the Capital One travel card. Now let's move on to the fifth reason of why you might decide to avoid Capital One credit cards. The Capital One Duo is definitely the most popular pairing of Capital One credit cards, but before you consider adding either the Venture X or the SavorOne, you want to ensure that the perks align with your spending habits. For instance, the Venture X offers Capital One lounge access, Priority Pass, and Plaza Premium lounges, but the limited number of Capital One lounges, currently only 3 locations, might not provide much value compared to Amex Centurion Lounge if you have Amex Platinum. But beyond lounge access, the SavorOne offers an introductory 0% APR for 15 months, and the Venture X provides a $100 credit at Capital One Premier Hotel Collection. It's worth considering if these perks align with your travel and spending preferences before committing to the duo. Finally, the last thing that you'll need to be able to handle is customer service, since it can be a hit or miss with Capital One, and I've seen some people having issues with their customer service. While some people have good experiences, it often falls short when compared to Chase or Amex, and one of the reasons is there is no live chat with representative. This isn't to say that Capital One can't work well for some users, but if a strong customer service is a priority, it's a factor worth considering. Overall, before jumping into any Capital One credit card or the Duo, weigh these points carefully against your needs and whether Capital One aligns with your expectations and preferences. And this whole video seems to be super negative to Capital One, but we are simply showing this side to make you question things and make sure you understand both sides. Everyone are comparing things all the time in order to make the best decision, so we are here to help. Let me know your experience with Capital One in the comments below. And thank you for watching. If you want more helpful financial tips, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more tips, and leave a comment. See you in the next one.